Horizons, welcome to UX, and this is Might and Magic 7 re-review, Archaic Fossil Edition by ssethtzeentach. I'm guessing he's taking on this again. I'm pretty sure he did that. Like, I've reacted to the original one he did, which was a while ago, a few years ago, and I originally started reacting to ssethtzeentach videos. As far as I remember, I'm pretty sure I've reacted to Might and Magic 7 and Might and Magic 8 from ssethtzeentach. And there's other yeah. So Might and Magic is like that kind of like a series which is like really good as far as whatever slim thing I can remember from it. I don't know what story, but like the abilities and things, it's like interesting, let's just say. So yeah, this is gonna be awesome. Let's do this one.
Hey people, Seth here. Pilgrimage. For some, this means visiting the Vatican or Mecca. For me, it's replaying my favorite game and subjecting my audience to a series of moldy pixels. Might and Magic 7, for Blood and Honor. What it lacks in length and fidelity, it makes up for by the fact that it's better than any psychological Skinner's box released today. There's a lot of party compositions, and technically, you could finish the game with anything, but it would be extremely painful. Coincidentally, the default is probably also the most complete experience. Behold, my party. We pick Goblin Knight for the smoker's voice.
You have to choose me.
A sorcerer and a cleric, so we can actually have fun. And my thief is simply a product of socioeconomic condition. Emerald Island is the tutorial zone, which you can never return to, which is a shame because it has one of my favorite tracks. I use the GOG copy of Might and Magic 7. By pure muscle memory, I start torrenting, before remembering that I own it legally and in real life. We use Greyface's patch for Might and Magic 7 to stretch for...
Yeah, there have been games from Ubisoft in the past that even though I owned, I still did For some reason, it ran smoothly by doing that, rather than using the launcher and shit. That's just fucked up to me. You pay money and like you have to go through all this like loopholes and like while you can just pirate and like it's run smooth. The hell?
Widescreen resolution, rearrange the UI, and give us mouse look. Convenience for me is a necessity for you. You're not going to survive the arrow keys. Lord Markham's treasure hunt is the basis of our adventure. He wants to pawn off the shitty town of Harmondale in the middle of contested territory between Arathia and Tularia, which both sides believe rightfully belongs to them. We'll need several items. A red potion.
A perfect mix.
A seashell, which you can find stashed to the north. It's tradition for me to do none of the fighting, as I lure dragonflies to kill half a town. This time, I keep Mr. Malwick alive. His associates will have a favor to collect on in the future. It's a lot more fun this way. As for rigging the contest, we don't really need the wand, but it's useful later on. A hat, which you can trade for a red potion from Brent, a mentally challenged adventurer who can't make his own. A floor tile, which you get from the Temple of the Moon, along with getting ambushed by another adventurer for your hat, who is also mentally challenged, because there's one in the drawer right behind him. A longbow, which you find on the floor of the Dragon's Cave, along with the missing contestants, and possibly a dead party member if you're not fast enough.
Let's get out of here.
And a musical instrument. Wait, what? 500 gold? We'd love to pay you. But I have a different idea. Originally, I was going to lure her out of town with Alex Jones screaming and take it by force. But it turns out you can pickpocket by pressing control. I killed her anyway. Locating the missing...
That was probably like OnlyFans level shit. You can buy a flute just from me. Alright, that was like somebody was selling bath water for a certain amount and people bought it. Like, really? Okay.
Contestants and completing the treasure hunt gets us a lot of experience. But we need just a little more. We've been on this island for so long, my party is starting to go insane.
We may have a problem with this one.
A worthy opponent? Whoa.
For a normal player, this is when you leave, or you can sequence break your entire experience. Buff yourself with the Day of the Gods and Fire Resistance Shrine, and go back into the cave. Then, we spend the next 20 minutes kiting a red dragon, as we chip away at its health bar. Fun fact, endgame monsters such as dragons and titans have a chance of multi-looting. You click the body, you get items, and it doesn't disappear. And if it does, you just reload. After save scumming for several minutes, I have enough artifacts and equipment to completely spoil my enjoyment of the game. So we throw them into the ocean. Taikisha becomes a victim of racial profiling and is banned from every store. We train to level...
Okay, is it just me? But anytime I play an RPG game like this, if there is a challenge that gives you awesome reward, I'll try to do that shit. Just so I can play the game with like as a powerhouse. Not because I cheated or something, because I was part of the game and I did something that rewarded me with the powerful items. Like that, just like it's lore wise, it just works, right? So whether it's something like Elder Scrolls or something, I usually do shit like that. And even the lore wise, it makes sense.
Level 5 and set off to Harmondale.
Welcome aboard!
But first, I have obligations to a client that pays invoices 3 months late. Because I'm not a bug chaser, I'm a bag chaser, and I'm addicted to the jingle of coin. Warning, under 18s may currently be watching this video. To verify that you're above 18, please open your mouth in front of your webcam. Good. Now, move closer and smile for the camera, Goyim. Thanks to new online regulations, scenes like these are happening all over the world. You could be next. That is, unless you make the most important decision of your life. Prove to yourself that you have the strength and courage to be free. Download ExpressVPN. What's a VPN? Well, let's check Wikipedia. Okay, let me just enter my driver's license, social security number, and Costco membership. Just need to submit these and submit my entire identity on a silver platter to every single website I log into. Because nothing says protecting the kids like forcing them to build their own perfect database to train AI deepfakes. What could possibly go wrong? So how about we just don't do that? There we go. ExpressVPN works by routing all of your online traffic through a secure encrypted tunnel. Any identifying information, most importantly your location, will now come from the endpoint of this tunnel. So if your connection doesn't allow you to see the content you want, you can use ExpressVPN to move that connection to one of 105 countries where you can. Find out how you can get 4 months free by scanning the QR code on screen, clicking the link in the description box below, or by going to expressvpn.com/Seth. Despite being the newly made Lords of Harmondale, our own people treat us like dirt.
Need a new weapon? Thanks for nothing, moneybags.
The nerve.
It's worth visiting every house in town. Everyone has something to say, a quest to give, or skills to train. Additionally, you can hire NPCs. These can enhance your abilities or compensate for a lack of them. Officer, he's reaching! That was a close one. Generally, if they have a name, they can be interacted with. Unless they're called Peasant. This is a default name, like a fantasy version of Muhammad. Say it in public, and 20 people turn around. First order of business, we need to talk to our geriatric butler.
It doesn't look too bad in here.
It seems our castle is overrun with goblins, and it's time to evict them. And now, we draw straws for who gets to pick through the garbage.
I think I'm getting sick.
The castle is still a dump. We're too incompetent to fix it, so we have to ask the dwarves for help. Along the way, we find out Darren's brother Elrond has disappeared. They were planning to trade Magic the Gathering cards, but as his brother played...
Alright, something makes me think like, Baldur's Gate 3 came out and people are like, oh, this game is insane, which it is. And the details are insane, like, and even the developers of other companies are like, oh, come on, they're spoiling everyone, like, we can't do this type of shit. And that makes me think like games like Might and Magic and things, they already have details like that. These are the type of RPG games that are becoming less and less frequent, right? It's like gems of the past. Like people are not putting as much as effort. People are not putting as much detail. If once somebody did do that with Baldur's Gate 3, people's mind blew up, right? Because there's many games set reviews which has insane details that you wouldn't think the game would have. But some developer, and usually games like these are made from very few developers. It's also like, what are those hundreds of developers doing in other games where games fucking suck? Like, it doesn't even have basic details. Like, you need to put details in like some kind of an RPG game if you want it to feel immersive and real, right? People interacting, like talking, NPC talking, things like that. In future, I can see AI transforming this kind of games, creating like completely random things and random encounters.
Plays a blue control deck. He is a social pariah and has taken up residence with the troglodytes in a cave to the south. We find no trace of him, only a deck of cards and his dead body. I guess we'll never truly know. Nearby, we can find the Arbiter, who acts as diplomatic mediator between the factions. More importantly, he can replace quest items without asking what I did to the last one. Before we proceed, we need promotions. Any skill in white can be trained. Any skill in yellow needs a promotion to attain, and those in red are restricted by your class. We could pursue anything, but but personally, I hate walking. I want to fly and defecate openly on people's heads. To this end, we have to go to the worst area in the game, Brakata Desert. Nothing is reachable except by teleporter. Everything is a platforming nightmare, and there's a wishing well in town that only grants a single wish. Death.
I am so dead.
For the sorcerer promotion, we need to build a golem. Unfortunately, the eBay seller has misdelivered all the parts and offers no refund. We have to track them all down from the bill of sale. Naturally, none of this is explained to you. Also, the chest contains a faulty head, which will cause the golem to go berserk. So let's go get the real one. Next stop is Barrow Downs, another area that sucks. Ghosts cause artificial aging. Gogs explode on death. And I failed to disarm the next chest.
Oops.
Good thing I have insurance. Next is Tatalia. I meant to have water walking to reach this island, but that's skill points I don't want to spend.
Though you have been defeated, death is not your fate today.
I'm starting to think. Disarm trap expert might not be enough. Okay, I got humbled. Water walking is a necessity for the VII shipment. I got murked by the water elemental several times and had to reload. But it's all worth it, because the last 2 shipments are in Deja.
Whoa.
We trail around town to avoid a restraining order, slaughter some harpies, and get our remaining parts. We assemble our golem and turn our sorcerer into a wizard. Now we're traversing in style. You don't have to do it in this order, but it makes our other promotions easier. For Knight to Cavalier, we have to clear out a haunted house in Barrow Downs, during which Rogan develops a fluoride stare. Unfortunately, the only person who can cure paralysis is currently paralyzed. So I have to reload. For thief into rogue, to even be able to talk to our quest giver, we need to fight past British teenagers. Inside the
Yeah, I love that. This makes me think, like there are games with multiple teammates like this, but there's always a healer there. But some of the healer sucks at everything besides healing, and that's the first one that dies. Who the fuck you gonna heal when you die all the time? Like that's just, I get it, like you have to be tactical, but like sometimes AI is so bad, it's never tactical. Healer is the first thing that always dies.
rankest septic tank sewer gutter. And then we need to pay Lord Markham a visit and dash out with his antique vase. This is widely considered to be one of the hardest first promotions, which can also be completed in under 12 seconds. And finally, for Cleric to Priest, we need to find the navigational map to Evermorn Islands.
Sorry.
With everyone promoted, now's a good time to visit the Warlocks and learn Master Water Magic. Unfortunately, they're only accessible through a set of shitty tunnels under Stone City. Beholders put you to sleep and make you insane, and Minotaur Lords have a chance to cause instant death. We're not even going to try fighting them right now. Instead, we go invisible and sneak past them. Mind the hitboxes. Even a light brush against a frenulum is game over for us. Town Portal is a major convenience for getting around, which is why the trainer has to be located in the most inconvenient location in the game. As our party is geared and skilled up, we can proceed with the story.
Oh, what a waste of time.
Unfortunately, Taikisha is arrested for an unpaid parking ticket and we go to prison. A year later, we've served our sentence and can finally talk to the king. It seems his dwarves went off to romance the Medusas, who didn't take kindly to the advances of our short kings, turning them into stone. Everyone we need to rescue is on the top level, and we never actually have to interact with a single Medusa. However, sabotaging the elevator suspension is still free XP. We return our manlets to the king. He sends out his engineers and advises us to watch our backs. As the first Lords of Harmondale that aren't completely incompetent, we're forced into politics. The castle may be fully repaired, but now it's occupied by vultures. Araphia and Avli are at war, and they've sent for ambassadors to try and forge an alliance. Humans currently hold the border, which the elves claim was stolen during the Timber Wars. Neither of them recognize my legitimate claim to the land, as collector of several knickknacks on a remote island. Because of this, we're going to play both sides. Queen Catherine wants us to extract her spy before he's executed, while King Parson wants the floor plans to Fort Riverstride. Budget cuts and austerity have hit the military, as you'll be hacking through elves armed with branches and women armored from head to toe, but nothing in between. As the war is ongoing, these quests are timed. In a month's time, they'll call for
Hey, those women wanted to dress like that. Come on, there you go. That's yeah. There's going to be a time where this game is going to be completely cancelled because people got pissed off. Let's be honest. You better have physical copies of this game, man. For every time, why are elves always seen as like earthy or woods type people who are this kind of like a They're basically like green people, right? With sticks and shit. Like, oh, okay.
ceasefire. Both will go pray at the Wailing Wall in Bracada, and everything goes back to usual. You can choose to
John
screw
Cena.
over each side by asking the king for a lookalike and the queen for a fake set of blueprints. However, this grants less experience, and prior to the patch, none at all. Bizarrely, you can also choose to screw someone over, feel bad about it, confess to their leader, and get executed. Which has no impact
shit.
on your ability to make small talk with a king. And now we wait around, gawking at the caked up elven peasants. Hate to see him go, love to watch him leave. I don't want to go back to jail, so our next best option to advance the story is spend a few months training. When we get back, Judge Grey has a heart attack. As Lords of Harmondale, we reserve a right to choose his successor. This is where the game branches off, so I recommend saving beforehand. Judge Fairweather represents the Wizards of Bracada and successfully negotiates a peace treaty between Arathi and Avlee. Judge Sleen represents the Necromancers of Deja and lets our sorcerer do all the talking.
I don't want to see him kissing goblins, or if you catch him in bed with a goblin. You're going to have babies with a goblin. You're going to marry a goblin.
Understandably, this leads to all-out war, but a lot of fresh bodies for our new allies. Welcome to the Path of Dark. The pit is a fire hazard of winding corridors. Homeowners Association would have a word about this.
Goblin grub good.
But hey, we have much more charming residents. Uncle Baz looking rough since he sprained that ankle. Good thing we've got the NHS. We need to see Archibald, which is more difficult.
Yeah, homeowners association. Imagine that, like acting all this, like, yeah, there's that homeowner association guy comes like, what the fuck is it now?
Than it sounds, because if I follow the guard's instructions, I'll accidentally enter a restricted area and get torn to pieces. For our initiation, we have to reach the end of a shithole. I can't decide what's worse, kiting 24 behemoths in a corridor or getting jump scared by a trap that's 20 decibels louder than anything else in the game. Colloquially known as the Waffle House that never sleeps, you have to complete the breeding zone in a single try, as leaving will reset the area. It's worth the suffering, because we get access to dark magic. Or so I thought.
Members only.
Time for our second promotions. For Cavalier to Black Knight, we have to rob the Elven Treasury. For Priest into Priest of Dark, we have to deface the altar in the Temple of the Sun. Both completely trivial. For Rogue to Assassin, we have to assassinate Lady Carmine, a diplomat who defected to the wizard's court. There's a horde of angels between her, so we have to go invisible. On the way there, I get distracted.
Welcome.
As Taikisha goes for the throat, I realize she's a friendly NPC and accidentally talk to her instead. Oops. It's time to leave, but as Celeste is in the sky, all we have to do is jump. All that's left is the main reason for going dark, transforming our wizard into a lich. The ritual requires a soul jar as our phylactery. And we're all out, but there's a stolen shipment stashed inside the walls of mist. We get no experience from fighting here, so it's best to go invisible. This gives us a narrow time window between puzzle solving and staring at the backsides of genies. Pain is temporary, lichdom is forever. And if you become a girl lich, you get pretty pink princess eyes instead. The forbidden pickle jar must never be consumed or thrown away. Attempt to do so, and you'll quickly find out why. Just as we finish our promotions, we get a letter from an old friend. Niles Stanley, Mr. Malwick's employer, has come to collect on his favor. He wants us to steal a tapestry from Castle Gloaming. Doing this is a horrible idea, as it locks me out of story progression for at least a year of game time. But if I don't comply in a month's time, he's going to send starving adventurers and malnourished goblins to attack Harmondale. This isn't even a threat. It's an invitation to a good time. So we let the timer tick down and watch as my golem solos the entire raid. We celebrate by giving our goblin so many BBLs. She becomes the living ship of Theseus, with no original parts. Is she still Nicki Minaj, or simply an automaton animated by cellulite? It's worth doing the other promotions, if not for the experience alone, then to see what kind of bullshit you have to survive for the other classes, which include basic cryptography, for which you have to bust out the pen and paper, the hardest promotion in the game, which forces you to visit the endgame land of the giants to steal a dragon egg, and of course, kidnapping a child for Bill Gates. What can I say? I walked, so Epstein could run. All that's left is to finish the story. After deactivating the teleporter shielding from Clanker's laboratory, retrieving a new shipment of soul jars, and rejoining the two
Alright, I must say, man, I'm currently playing Dying Like the Beast because obviously I'm a Techland fan. I've been playing those games since Dead Island 1. But man, like I don't find recent games like just captivating enough to really finish it or like play it enough, right? I'm just watching the review, like I'm not even playing it, and all the shit you can do in this game, how stories are like diverging and how the politics is there, the details. Oh, this game is from 1999 and it's so awesome. Even to me, like obviously I'm the kind of guy who needs good graphics or something like a remade game or something, but at this point I don't care, man. I might play this game because the detail that is just captivating, isn't it? I feel like people nowadays are making game not too complex. At least that's most games are, because people are worried about other people's retention. Nowadays, like Nintendo games, basic like Mario games are getting too famous, and basic games are getting too famous. Souls like game where you just kill things and move on. I mean, it's not like it doesn't have a story, but not like this. Not like a proper RPG game like this. And these games are becoming like too rare. And Baldur's Gate 3's success should be a sign like people want this. I mean, come on.
Altar pieces from a Temple of Light and Dark, Archibald's advisors stage a coup and overthrow him. Time for some quick lore. These are the adventurers from Might and Magic free Isles of Terra, whose starship was thrown off course and crash-landed on Enroth, at which point the group had a schism. Resurrectra, Sir Canahem, and Craghack left for the court of Gavin Magnus, while Castor, Darkshade, and Sir Maximus joined the Necromancers in Deja. Both have very different plans, but the same objective: the Oscillation Overthruster aboard the Lincoln. But we need a control cube to get in, which only they possess. Every character listed is someone's precious OC, so for the upcoming assassination, we have to act like Robert the Wise and Tulberti were just there all along. Avoiding this boss fight is the single solitary reason for having a thief, as we may simply pinch the control cube from his pocket. But I want his Blicky, which is more complicated, as he can eradicate two people at once with a single attack. However, Grandmaster Protection for Magic is completely busted and required for this encounter. Like an ancestral memory from the drive-bys of my forefathers, simply touching the Glock awakens primordial knowledge of how to use it. Visions of 7-Eleven stores and Indian gas station attendants swim across my psyche. The barrel cries out to me. It says, "Point me at a pregnant mother." Afterwards, Castor sends us to kill Xenofex and destroy the local devil cluster. Along the way, with the help of his brother, we rescue Roland Ironfist, but not before enjoying the view. As thanks for saving her husband, Queen Catherine pardons Archibald and exiles him to Clanker's laboratory. DoorDash arrives twice a week, and if he doesn't eat his greens, he doesn't get pudding. Finally, we have to board the Lincoln. Luckily, the environmental wetsuits come in child size for our dwarf. Unluckily, this area sucks, and a ship filled with one-shotting Terminators is even worse. Castor restores the Heavenly Forge, which he uses to 3D print a billion guns and chimp out. Originally, this was the canonical ending, which would explain the appearance of a Forge faction in the upcoming expansion to Heroes Free. People didn't like it because it's sci-fi. I didn't like it because it looked shit. The canon ending is we reactivate the gate system to reach Web Station 5 and access other worlds seeded by the Ancients in the Spinward Rim, many of which are isolated and unknown to the Devils. So that's Might and Magic 7, 26 years old, and still as good as the day it released. There's a myriad of guides and resources, which is partially why I never explained very much. The other reason being that I got tired, and I didn't feel like doing it. Each time I feel anxious about a video, I look at this picture of a divorced mother of three and immediately feel better, because whatever I'm going through, she's got it 10 times worse. As always, more content to come, so stay tuned.
Your gold is safe with us.
A warm thanks to the many members of a Merchants Guild.
Okay, why can't they remake this game, right? Like, there are companies like the people who remade Oblivion. That's not Bethesda's company. That's a company with insane amount of people. I think near 1,000 people. But they work on multiple projects. They're like freelancers who take things from other company and do jobs. Oblivion was like really smooth. Why can't they remake something like this? Like, developers can still make money. This is an awesome game, man. And people like Seth is already like, like spreading the, like message out like how awesome this game is. Just remake that shit, man. This is game from 26 ago, 1999, man. This game can be remade. You don't even have to add too much mechanics or shit. It just needs to look a bit modern, even if it looks, like, even if it functions the old way, it just needs to look a bit modern. You don't have to completely remake it from scratch, because, like, you need to change style and, like, how mechanics work, how art style work. That might be a bit of a challenge, but just, like, just make it modern enough. There you go. The game is awesome, man. Obviously, like, the story is, like, yeah, it's like 99 story, but, like, how it gets there, how complexity it has is awesome. How many times you have to play this game just to figure shit out, man? What works in what way? That's just insane. Like, that brings you back to being a kid, right? Like, back then, like, you just used to play the game and replay it. Nowadays, I can't do that shit, right? So sometimes when a game requires you to multiple play it, it's just like, yeah, come on, man. But yeah, its complexity is awesome. Right, well, if you like what I subscribe, and I'll see you next time.